Hey admins, how we doing out there? Today it's kind of funny. I'm not wearing a blue shirt. I'm wearing a black shirt. People, I guess, have taken notice how often I seem to wear blue shirts. Blue is my favorite color, so I don't know why. I just seem to wear them every time I'm doing a video. Um, Today, there's a few things I want to cover, and I'll try to get through them fairly quickly. Again, elections are coming up, and that process is getting ready to start. In the last email I sent out last week was a copy of the election handbook. Again, you can get that from the Moose International site also if you don't have a copy. What a couple of lodges are doing, and we've had them do it in the past, and it's a great thing when you're putting up notices of positions for people to run for. They're also going online and copying the duties of each officer and hanging those up. Um, if you go and look for the general laws on the Moose International site, you can find the electronic version. It's a PDF version, and you can copy and paste that and put it onto into another file and then print it up. So you'd have the list of what the duties are for each of those positions, because it seems like a lot of people, even officers themselves, do not understand what their job duties are, and we need to make sure that that's happening. So again, just make sure we're getting the process started. Make sure we're talking with our board about that process. Make sure the president knows what he needs to be doing. Again, it's communications, and we seem to have trouble with communications. So along that line, everybody should be on the new email system. Again, it didn't really change. So I'm still getting people as of this morning calling me wanting to know why they can't get on, and it's because it's changed over. Their password hasn't changed, they just didn't write it down. So we need to make sure that we're constantly reading emails at least a few times a week. People seem surprised. Well, it's been in a couple of videos now and several emails from myself and Moose International that it was happening. Um, so those communications also, especially the ones from the help desk, need to be being read at meetings. It seems like I'm going to a lot of meetings and they're saying there's no communications. Moose International sends out one at least once a week. So if you're only having meetings every couple of weeks, which is what most lodges are doing, you should have a couple. The top stuff's important. Some things I don't worry about. I'm not worried about going in details. When Moose International at the end of the email is trying to sell decorations for St. Patrick's Day, I'm not worried about that stuff. But what we do have people passing up is when we're going to talk about 990s. It's that time of year. You know, you'll start getting emails probably in the next 2 months about them, and it's every other email. Your board should know what a 990 is. Everybody should know the process is being started. You, as the administrator, should be letting them know where you're at in that process. The board should know when you're finished processing that and when it's been sent off. So that's a good time to bring those up. Now, I don't expect you to read every single word that Moose International puts out about 990s, but when you come across that topic, say, we've already discussed 990s, here's where we're at. I have where we're skipping the employment postings. And I get some people like, well, who's going to, want that job out in California when we're living in Indiana? I don't expect you to go through all the details again, but we need to let people know that there are job positions open. You never know when there might be an accountant willing to do something. Um, oh, once a job, there's a territory manager opening. There's a territory manager opening right now in Central Illinois. So you never know when somebody's going to say, oh, I wouldn't mind considering looking into the process of that. People still need to know that information. Talking about communications, right now is payroll tax time. Lodges, if you have a payroll and you have paid employees, you need to be looking at, we should already be well into the process of working on W-2s to get those out to your employees. Most of you are working with a CPA of some sort. Again, the board should be aware of, I've talked to the CPA, the W-2s are on their way out. For the handful of lodges that I have that use QuickBooks Online, and this was a question over the past weekend, I've talked to a couple lodges that use the QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is mailing out those W-2s to employees, but again, it's communication. Talk to your employees and say, hey, let me know when those arrive so I know that it's been taken care of. They are also emailing, or there's an electronic version in QuickBooks Online if we have to get them, but they should be getting a hard copy mailed out. So you need to know, and your employees need to know where the process is of that, and the board should know that also, because if a trustee is sitting at the bar, not they should be discussing a ton of business, but employee says, well, you haven't gotten my W-2 yet. They can say, oh, well, we know in the last meeting that, they talked to the CPA, they should be getting there on time because there is a deadline for those to get out. So again, communications. Also, we are fastly approaching the end of third quarter this year. It's went by fast. It's the Stronger Together theme. So we need to make sure that we're entering in our heart of the community. Again, we seem to constantly be having a problem with not filling this out and leaving information off. I've said it several times why it's important to fill this out. It's not just more work for the lodge. It's keeping track of what the lodge is doing, and that does matter. I've said before in the past, it's an IRS thing. It's the first thing they're going to want to ask to see is what we've done. Well, what we're coming across now is that Moose International is pushing more for dispensations and making sure lodges are properly getting dispensations they should be having to cover their butts when it comes to legal issues. And that's why there are dispensations. Now, what we're finding is that lodges are going out and asking for dispensations, and they're raising money for whatever it is. Maybe let's say it's an animal shelter, and then we see that, okay, they're doing 3 or 4 events and they've said they're raising money for the animal shelter. And then when you go to ask for another dispensation, you've asked for that animal shelter again, we're going the 5th time, the chief compliance officer is going back and looking at dispensations, and they are looking in your QuickBooks and your heart of the community. And here there's no checks written to that. They're not going to allow you to have a dispensation because they think you're hoarding all the money again, and it's not going to that cause. That just can't happen. We've also had it where they've had several dispensations for a project and they've only given a few dollars. I'm talking single dollar amounts. I'm not talking hundreds or thousands. They've given only a couple dollars. Well, then it looks like the lodge is keeping all that money, and that's not what the IRS is going to want to see, and that's not what Moose International wants to see. So they're going to deny your dispensations if you're having events for fundraising for those charities, and there's not some kind of check written to those charities, and if you're having a dinner dance or whatever it is, and you're writing a $25 check to that charity, unless that event was an absolute failure, which could possibly happen. I doubt it, though. You need to make sure that you're sending checks off to those charities that you said you're going to give money to. The very last thing, and I'm going to keep this under about 8 minutes. Good deal. I'm going to be on vacation this weekend, so I will be out of reach from Thursday till Monday. So that's Thursday the 28th, or is that the 27th? It's Thursday the 27th until the Monday, which I believe is the 31st. As always, you can contact Rusty Shields, my assistant territory manager, if you have any minor questions. He's always able to answer most of those. If it's a real emergency, you can call the Northern Territory Manager, Mark Benton. He can try to answer some questions if it's in a case of an emergency. If it's not that important, feel free to send me a text or an email, and I will get to them next week as in the order they were received. And this always never fails. I end up getting a text or an email, somebody wanting Rusty's phone number or Mark Benton's phone number. Their numbers are listed on the state officer sheet, which should be in every administrator's office. So if you don't have a copy of that, you need to go back. That was emailed out again. If you don't have a copy hanging somewhere of the current year, which that just recently changed for Indiana Moose Association. Our year starts in November, and there was one sent out a few months ago. Email me. I'll send you a copy. You can contact Dick Schuyler, the state secretary. He can send you a copy. That's it. I went 9 minutes. You guys have a great week. Take care.